Hi, everyone. Today is Sunday, May the 31st of 2026. And welcome to my live stream on my new channel. I had somebody say something to me the other day, and it really hit home when he said, wow, he goes, you have so many different programs. I have a hard time keeping track. I can only see one like once a week. He's a premium member, so whatever I have going on that week, he can access any one of them. And then, of course, everything's available on the replay. And I thought about that and I said, I said, there is an awful lot of minutia on my channel, not just the news and the politics and the natural disasters. That's kind of like one group. But then we have this whole other group, with the finance and the cryptos and the silver and gold and so many different subject matters. So I was like, yeah, you know what? I need to start a news and politics channel where we can just focus on that, because we're coming up to that stage now where I mentioned that domestically, Trump was going to start taking action. So there's been an awful lot of stuff going on. I'm hearing stuff about this Thomas Massey guy, which I never thought was a good guy. But then when you see how many people were following him and really liked him, you're like, wow, a lot of these people, it's all coming out now. So that's one thing that we're going to be seeing is, and another shocking thing that I saw on X was Marjorie Taylor Greene. And I was listening to her talk and she's talking about baby boomers. And I was like, well, I don't really have it in for any one group of the population at all. I mean, I think everybody has worked pretty well together considering what we've been up against. Many of the things that are happening worldwide now are just a matter of the demographics. I mean, it's always been baked in the cake that we were going to have inflation, because as you have aging people, more as your population ages, so maybe the average age was, maybe 30 years old so many years ago, and then now it's 40. I don't actually know what that is, but it would be in that range. There's the worldwide age has risen significantly. And then therefore, of course, the number of children you're having goes down as well. But I don't think that's going to be as big a problem as it normally would be, just because of our ability to trade with one another. And also, which they didn't have that as much except in the Mediterranean era back during the Bronze Age. That was exceptional. Where you had not only did you have what you needed, but you had a vast array of different quality of cloths to use, garments, and it was an amazing time back then. But then it all just went away. So based on history and so much that's going on today that matches with what's going on in history, it's really not that hard, I don't think, to predict some of the things that are happening. Where I've done really, really well is specifically going against the grain. Like, there's only ever been one president in American history who won a second term after not winning the second term in a row. Now, we all know now that he did win that second term back to back after the first, because it's only coming out now. But then he also said, or Q said, right, news and politics, that's Q falls into that. Q had said that people had to be shown. So wouldn't it make sense to you that maybe the 4 years that Joe Biden was in, that was all just part of the plan, because you had to show people? That's what I think. Nice to see you, Rhonda Turner. I'm glad you were able to make it. And you're talking about the worst job market. Now, because people who are in tech and in any of these white collar jobs, they are having some problems for sure. If you're in tech or white collar jobs, you may have to be willing to move around a little bit, change what it is that you were doing. But that just means that you just have to pivot and change. So try not to worry too much. And also, the golden age is coming. So many of you who are gold and silver bugs, your portfolio went up significantly. So, I mean, if you had like $100,000 a couple of years ago in silver, you got a lot more than that now. So I think some people can wait it out. And Star says, good day, Sam. Glad I woke up for your chat just in time. Thanks, Sam. World is crazy. Yeah, and that's what I'm here for. I was like, yeah, I got to do more news and politics stuff. And people like Rhonda Turner, one of the Sam Jammers, they support me over on Patreon. So I don't need any super chats over here or anything like that. Um, I just work for free over on YouTube because they support me over there and they ask the questions. And then I pull the information from my head because I've read, I can't even tell you how much I've read since I was like 4 years old, 5 years old. I learned to read before I started school. I mean, I'm not even above average IQ. I've just basically hit it hard since I was little. And the best day of my life, I think, when I was a kid was when my parents got their World Book encyclopedia. So again, ask me whatever you want and news and politics, and I'll answer. I have a really great track record with that. Yeah. I guessed the Iran conflict, even the Fardo, way back when that happened. Yeah, I didn't think that the war in Fardo, what the Iran and the IDF, I didn't think that it was going to last very long, but I knew it wasn't over. And I also know what's going on right now. I was like, yeah, the death cult must be killed. This is not going to be easy to negotiate, but it is easier to negotiate out of it. And then when they don't do what you want them to do, I mean, they people getting picked off in Lebanon, make no mistake, like that's sending a message to the Iranian leaders. Like when I saw all of those, like the number one guy or the number two Al Qaeda, I think it was Al Qaeda. I'm not sure. I have a hard time keeping track of all the horrible, evil people who are just going around randomly killing innocent folks to make a statement. So, yeah, so the IDF and the Mossad are targeting and killing some of the top um, Hezbollah and Hamas. And I thought I saw that even or what's the other one? Anyways, that's all part of it. That's all part. They're all part and parcel together. They're all working together. So from the beginning, I always felt like Iran, they were using all of their proxies. And I was not surprised to hear from a military official who was speaking during an interview with a journalist that an average of, for the last year, an average of one serviceman has been killed every 3 days by Iran or one of its proxies. Yeah, so I don't think that anyone would stand for that. So it was time to go after them. And I've been expecting this for quite a few years. I was just trying to find all my videos. We have them on a separate platform, and Spencer's traveling today. So I was like, I can't find any more. I'm looking for videos to upload because I'm just going through, just looking for the news and politics one. Because, like I said, I mean, it's just overwhelming, all the information that I have over the last 7 years. Yeah. And yeah. Oh, yeah, Star. Never thought you would get into the new politics games. I'm glad to listen to all you say, just holding on tightly and waiting for my cup of tea. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm doing it because remember I said that James Comey would be the first of the arrests. And how did I know that? Because he is the weakest link. Oh, you can just tell. Yeah. Yeah. Limp dick. Comey. Mm. Oh, do you like my new merch? It's not for sale yet, but this was just the sample. Anyways, like I said, I'm trying to get Spencer to help me, but she's on a plane. She's probably like, Mom, can't you pick a better time to do this kind of stuff? Yeah. Well, I'm hitting the road in a couple of days, so you will notice that I unusually do not have a very heavy schedule over on my Patreon. But there's this new thing. It's called Quips. Yeah, and I've been doing the quips. So I'll be doing some video quips because I'll have my son with me in the car as I'm driving. Oh, and don't forget, for Sam Jammers in the house, we do have a meetup in Washington, D.C. on June the 7th. So just send us a message at admin at Sam Jam Studios. So let me just put that here. Admin at samjamstudios.com. All right. All right. So just give us a heads up if you're in the Washington, D.C. area and you want to meet up. And I'm picking another meetup location and place, but I was going to do a little survey over on the Patreon, see where everyone is. Yeah. Let's see. I'm going to take a look at, oh, I had some notes here. What did I say? Okay. A while back, when someone asked me in, is it March, about Spencer Pratt and Steve Hilton, who was going to win. Now, I like Steve Hilton. He was my favorite. So I've always thought that he was going to win, but I didn't think that I didn't think that he was leading. I thought somebody else was leading because I mean, I don't watch any of those elections, but I was like, "Oh yeah, Spencer Pratt, he's going to win." And I couldn't believe like how negative people were about Spencer Pratt not winning and that Karen Bass was going to win, and I was like, "No, that was the turning point. I told you. That was the first time like after the fires, which I was mentioning a while back that LA is not a good place to be. I was talking to somebody about something else. He was asking me some questions about business, finance, that kind of stuff. I worked in finance for, I don't even want to say how many years now. I started when I was a teenager. That's all you need to know. It was a long time ago. Yeah. So he was asking me questions about that. And he was thinking about moving into Los Angeles. And I told him, don't do it. I said, don't do it. I said, they're going to have a big problem with fires there because any place like California or Arizona where they're not managing, like that's the first place they start ripping you off, like in the areas that they think you won't notice, right? And you notice the opposite thing happening in Canada, where you don't necessarily have corrupt local officials in your province who are stealing money. But what's happening is that Canada is financially going down the toilet and there's not enough tax money coming in for all the money that's been going out because nobody wants to give up all their little pet projects and they think they should pay for everything and they think they think the government should be involved in everything, but then they don't want to pay for it. So when the bill comes due, they're like, oh no, just like those people who partied down in Cabo, like it was 1999 and then they charged it all on their credit card. And then they went back to the States and then they argued against it. So the credit card was like no bueno. And they should anyways, because those timeshare companies, I mean, they're just out of control with what they get to sign people for. But still, I mean, they paid like, I don't think they paid for anything. And what the timeshare companies do is, I swear, I mean, I haven't been through this and I've never worked as a salesperson for timeshare. I'm just telling you what I've heard from people who have experienced this, but they do let the liquor flow. They're always offering you wine. They're obviously, oh yeah, I would never accept a drink if I was making a business decision, and then they get them to sign and, oh, if you change your mind, you've got 7 days. It's like, yeah, but you better put it in writing. You better document it, because if you don't, so yeah, it's pretty crazy down there when those people are doing that kind of stuff. And then they canceled it. And then they thought that they could just go back to Mexico and that nobody was going to do anything about that. It's like, come on, what did you think was going to happen to you? It's like literally the minute you landed, they put your butt in jail and then they'll just wait for you to cough up the money, and it turned into an international incident. uh, oh yeah, and the aliens. Okay, well that's politics and news. I had mentioned to you that I thought there were like 3 to 4 different types of aliens, but that there was one that was BS. It was the reptilian one. And it's because those assaults on the villagers down in Peru, the face peelers. If you haven't heard it, just go put face peeler and it'll tell you. It's been going on for a long time now. This is reverse engineered alien technology that has been, I'm not going to say stolen so much. Well, I mean, it's not, these people were never supposed to have it. So there's a group of men who have this stolen technology and they're the ones sort of holding themselves out as this other alien crew. But that's just, again, the technology that they're using to make people think that they are these alien creatures, but they're not. That's what I think about it. Anyways, it's all, that part is technology. And any talk about the individuals who claim that there's been some sort of deal with the aliens, that is a total and complete lie. And if you look through the systematic lies told by individuals in regards to this alien nation that they are supposedly communicating with. And I've even heard silly stories such as, there's an agreement that they're allowed to take 1,000 humans a year to operate or to, well, they're scientists, so we're like lab rats to them. So that's what somebody said. But I was like, oh, well, that's a total lie. And all of the stories you hear, they all have a reason why they don't have any proof or anything. They all have a reason why, right? Did you notice that? I was hearing one story about this man who had raised all this money because, he stumbled upon a cave when he was out hiking. And this was a while back, like over 100 years ago. Anyways, he ended up disappearing with all of their money and they never found the cave that he said was interworldly and that he wanted to find it again. But it was all the typical, it was sort of like, oh yeah, okay, so this is the story that they claim, but they always have a reason why they don't have anything with them, to prove. Because normally you would either take a picture with your iPhone, but of course he didn't have a camera back then. And so when I'm listening to these stories, I'm going through the list. Oh, check mark, check mark, check mark. Nobody ever has a body. Nobody knows a picture of the body. So yeah, so the alien thing, what Trump is doing with that is he is flipping the script on them again. They don't expect, and they being the individuals who, for example, kept their mouth shut back when the Biden administration was in, just before the November 2024 election. I was trying to remember the month it was. November 2024. Not American here, by the way, just in case you're wondering what kind of dumb person didn't know when we elected Trump. Well, I didn't elect Trump. I don't get to vote. But I'm very thankful for all of those of you who did. And I know that many of you were fighting against the media. And I know that many of you believed the media at first as well. I had a lot of friends and relatives and individuals like really close to me who believed all of the stuff that they were being fed by the media, which was completely opposite to what I was saying. But I knew that they would come along. And that was one of the things that I talked about, was that they were ginning up people to take pot shots at the president, talking about the threat against democracy and all of this stuff. And you could just see it so clearly. And so many people started to see it. I mean, and I remember somebody said to me after, it was somebody who had been anti-Trump, and after the first attempt on his life, where they just missed him because he turned his head at the last minute, they said, yeah, they're trying to kill him now. So they caught on. I was like, oh, you're catching now. Anyways, the good news is those are all over with now. Starting to roll up. You can see it. James Comey, he's not going down alone. He's going to take James Brennan. He's going to take everybody with him. Oh, yeah, they're scurrying. There's not any deals either. Oh, look at Obama. Yeah. I saw Obama when I was like in Canada. He was visiting. I think he was speaking. He was no longer the president. It was back when Biden was president, I think. And he went by. And I hollered. I was like, they know, Barry. What are you going to do, Barry? They know. That was like 6 years ago. And now you guys are all finding out as well. Yeah. So, all right. So more and more stuff of the aliens is going to come out. And you're really going to find out that they really don't know very much at all about them. They've reversed engineered. They know more about the stuff that they've reversed engineered and the stuff they can't figure out. They got some stuff too. You know that. I listen to people talk. I can tell if they're lying or they're unsure. Yeah, I know. I worked with people for a very long time in a completely different line of work than what I'm in. And then when I retired in 2018, oh yeah, I was all retired and just ready to kick back and live off of my husband. Yeah, that's retirement to me. But you know what? I got bored. I got too bored. So here I am, hanging out with you guys. Anyway, so keep those questions coming. I know that we don't have that many people live right now because, again, the message isn't really going out to the public yet. But as I have more material on my channel, and the other thing too is I had a channel going, I had probably as many more, I had more subscribers to my other channel than, but I even had my first video because I would go around and I would comment and then I would, so I'll probably have to do that for the news and political stuff for a bit, comments, and then people click on to see if you have a channel or something and then they come on over. So I did mention about Marjorie Taylor Greene when I was listening to her talk, slamming baby boomers. She's talking negative about the United States and the people in it. And I'm just like, look, everybody's doing the best they can with the shit show that they've been handed, okay? They're just doing the best they can. And she's not helping anything. When you're not supporting your president, who is the best, he's the best thing that has ever happened to you guys. Oh my gosh. Oh, Rhonda wants to know about the Clarity Act. So that is on the way. But remember, Rhonda, that, and I mean, this is really my thing because I was in finance. I did my own investing in business for years because I was self-employed. And one of the things that I did, I always operated, I always looked at it as a pie chart. So it still freaks me out a little bit when I'm looking for a pen. Just a second. I have a whole office set up here. It's not really good. Yeah, I know. So I always did the little pie chart. That okay? Yeah, the little pie chart. And then you always have so probably, yeah. So you have like I just divided into 4 different things. Now there's all kinds of different places that you can put your money when you're investing. All kinds of different places, but find out what works for you and what you know about. Now, one of the things I always say that no matter who you are, that you should have one house completely paid for by the time you're no longer working. And if you're like, well, I can't afford a house, well, get one at the pay level that you can afford to have, like all paid off. Because remember that, these great big homes, I mean, you got to maintain them too. I mean, what a waste of money, right? Especially if you're all just by on your lonesome, the kids have all moved out, you and your spouse just, you rather just be able to lock the door and walk away. So with real estate, I always put that like as a quarter, right? And then I've got a business of some sort. And you try to think of something that is recession proof, that you have a competence in, that you can take with you no matter what, and into your old age, so that you can continue to be productive. It's not that I don't believe in retirement. I just don't think that retirement is doing nothing. I think it's setting up your life for what you want it to be. And that's all that retirement is. So I like to help people do that. And a really big part of that is just keeping them from making some of the real simple mistakes. I don't know if some of you guys want to list off from over in the Sam Jam. We had some basic rules like don't FOMO in, right? Don't be other people's liquidity. Just if you missed it, another one's coming, just like another train, it's going to come along in 10 minutes. So do not buy with your emotion. Oh, spread your bets, right? And I usually have a 25% rule, and that's where you have 75% of your money if you're investing in things like, for example, cryptocurrencies, which are extremely high risk. So what you want to do is you want to have 75% in the ones that are in the top 20 or 30. And you pick the ones with history and growth and support and activity. And it's a good thing too, because, earlier, a few months ago, we had XRP went. and it did really well. And it went up to, what did it go up to? $3.70 or something like that. So people who had full bags of XRP, I mean, I know people who had hundreds of thousands of XRP, and they were doing the happy dance. And if you own Stellar, you're doing the happy dance. That had a good week. Hyperliquid, that's not been disappointing, right? And there's been quite a few of them actually that have steadily gone up. And very soon it'll be like everything's going to be moving very soon. But right now, news and politics, the world is changing. And once Trump gets the Iran war deal signed off, it's inevitable. It's coming. Once he gets that deal signed off on, then he is going to get Cuba going. I think it was brilliant arresting. They put out an arrest warrant for Castro. I think they're going to get him to turn himself in. And that's going to send a message to the rest of the people in Cuba that they better just give it up. Because nobody, right? I mean, what are they going to do against the American military? They'll just use the discombobulator and come in. And I mean, they sent those. How many Cuban guards were there? 32 of them that they sent home in little boxes. I mean, that had to be disturbing for them to see that there was nothing left of them. Oh, yeah. And thanks for your comment about the earthquake and volcanic activities accelerating, because we do cover natural disasters on here. There's three major ones that I have a concern about. Just from, I mean, we're talking about geopolitical, you got your investments, the money printers going burr for every Western government right now. Whew, especially the United Kingdom. I don't even know how they're keeping their head above board right now. And you're starting to see things break apart in France. I mean, we saw that coming for a while. I was like, Europe and the United Kingdom, no bueno, get out. But I did say that Nigel Farage, that he would take over as the prime minister. And I mean, how wonderful is it that this other person, Rupert, I don't know what his last name is. You guys will tell me because Rupert, he is started this other party. And one of the things I mentioned about the United Kingdom was because Labour and the Conservatives had done such a terrible job that it would make total sense to me that not only Nigel Farage, his party, the Reform Party, would sweep across Britain, but also Rupert's brand new party will kick Labour and the Conservatives. So like these other politicians who were there for you, they got no power. They are OUT. They are just shoved out the door. Yeah. All I'd say to them is repeat after me. Would you like fries with that? Yeah. What do you think of that? So that's one thing that's going on. But Campe Flagré, I think that is going to be the next major natural disaster attached to all of this earthquake and volcanic activity. So Campe Flagré, it's starting to move at lightning speed. And I estimate that the last earthquake that you would get underneath Campe Flagré, I think the last one was it 4.4 guys or 4.6? Because I think 5.1 is the last one that you're going to see reported until it just explodes. And remember, there's Vesuvius, Etna, there's this other volcano called Volcano in the Mediterranean, and there's another one. There's an island that it's in Greece. I forget what the name of that was. Anyways, I mentioned that they're probably all connected, like deep miles into the ground. So that entire area is going to be a mess. So if you happen to be in northern Italy or around there, like up there, where you might happen to get on a boat or something to make a quick getaway, do not do that. Because remember, if these other volcanoes are going to explode and they're in the water, then it's going to cause major tsunamis. So, I mean, it's all about educating yourself. And I had somebody ask me about, going there now, and I completely understand. And I myself, I wish that I wasn't so worried about this, because I started noticing the world waking up back in 2022 as far as earthquakes and volcanoes go, to the point that someone asked me what the big story for 2022 was going to be, because we did our January 1st live stream, January 1st of 2022. And I said that it was, just a second. I am running out of power, and I don't know how that happened. Okay, let me check my power just a moment, guys. Sorry, sorry. Sorry about that. Everything's plugged in. Panicked for no reason. I think I was on Patreon. Okay, we're up to 16 people, and I appreciate the likes. I know. My other channel, we'd be up to like 100 or so, but Spencer was like, yeah, Mom, that's how you got people up last time. And I was like, yep, we'll just talk about news and politics and give people the update. And if you like what I'm doing and you want to add to the questions over on Patreon, we've got some new folks over there right now. And the people who've been around a long time, some of them have been around like for the entire, ever since, well, a lot of people joined between February and June of 2019, and they're still hanging out with me over there. So they know like the history, right? Like Rhonda, she's an OG. So they know, and they're just like, oh yeah, we remember when you said this and you said that, and all this is coming up now. And like I said, I think that this is all going to get handled pretty soon, and that literally the last, like just more like the last 2.5 years is going to be President Trump putting all these people in jail. I mean, I told you nobody's going to be safe. Like even Jean Carroll, she lied under oath. That's what they're saying, that she lied under oath. She said, "Oh no, this was all my idea." And Reid Hoffman paid. Turns out he was at Epstein Island. Oh no. Yeah, that's no surprise. Yeah. And that was another prediction that I had back in 2019. And it's actually what got my channel doxxed. Shadow banned, not doxxed. I'm using the wrong words. Sorry. Sorry. Yeah, I'm an older person, so I'm still getting used to what these words are. Yeah, my son's been a literal treasure trove for words, though. Like I even know what a chud is. Yeah, ask Grok, look it up, or get yourself a teenager like I have. I'm I'm driving him to his job for the summertime, and then it's freedom. But you have those teenage boys. I was just watching his old football video. It was only like 2.5 minutes, and his old football coach. Oh, he's gonna be so happy that he's gonna have my son back because he was like their star, right? And but the video they sent, he did such a good job. Like if you wanted a football video, but then I noticed like I think my son was in the video. He was like mostly 14 years old, and he had like these little pencil arms, right? And he's been, bench pressing and doing all. I mean, I'm pretty sure he can do like 220 pounds. I mean, he's not even 16 yet. Yeah. Oh, yeah. He was complaining that he fell back to 205, right? But, anyways, so his arms are easily the size of his father's arms now. I know. Isn't that crazy? I mean, so he's going to return playing football in Cabo, and those little Mexicans, they're not even know what happened to them. And I'm not saying like all the people are small. There's like maybe two other guys in the whole league who might be close to his size. I don't know now, though. I don't know. We'll have to go down and see. But yeah, it's going to be fun. He's going to have more fun doing that. He didn't enjoy, he said, Mom, he goes, they took all the joy out. Yeah, I think he ran into a problem having to suit up with the kids who are much older than him because like they did notice him and they wanted him to suit up. But even on his team that he was playing, he was against some guy who was like 280 pounds and 3 inches taller than him. So he was getting destroyed there. All right. We got 18 people here. Okay. Going to handle some more questions. And thank you for the likes. All of that stuff helps with me trying to get this channel on the go because, again, news and politics. We're going to have lots to cover when it comes to the arrests that are coming very soon. And I will be interested to see some of the people that we don't know about. And that's where I bring up Tucker Carlson. Oh my gosh. I was so in shock. I was in shock. I was like, you know what? I will freely admit, I did not see that coming. I did not see that coming. And Yeah. So I think he really was scratched by that demon. And what's with this new kinship with Islam? And was he always a Jew hater and just hid it from us? Yeah. Yeah, that's not good. Hmm. Yeah. Well, I'm glad to see, Star, that you ended up getting your job offer. See, you're very talented. Now, just let's take a look at X. Bring that up. I'll bring up my channel first. And if you're not on my X channel yet, it's Predictions by SJ. Yeah, let me just show you my screen. You have that option here. I don't have fiber up here, and I only have one bar, so I don't know how well that's going to work. I hope I don't screw it up too much. Oh, good. We're up to 15 people. And thanks again for the likes. All right, let's look at X together. It's much more interesting when you just don't have to sit there and look at my bad job. Yeah, I was in finance before I did this. I was not in entertainment. I don't know how to do anything. I just have to see what other people do and educate myself. But in the meantime, I still want to stay on top of what's going on with what actually interests you guys, without being a distraction with my lack of, tech knowledge, or the fact that I can't even get my hair combed properly or eyeliner on. So let's see. Okay, so we got someone bragging about their kid, which is great. I always like to see people bragging about their kids doing. Let's see. Maple Mega won the BC Conservative leadership race. BC NDP and support under Trump style politics. Maple Mega. Oh, yeah. Okay. If this is Trump style politics, I'm all in. So she won because EB's been destroying BC. I didn't even know like what he was doing to the province. And BC, next to Alberta, I would say next to Alberta, British Columbia is one of the best provinces in Canada as far as productivity, for natural resources and for what its size is, its population and everything. Um, so Sue Mack says, as Premier of BC, she will put freedom first, cut taxes, lock up criminals, stop the extortion. I guess that's a big thing out there because they've had a lot of people come in from Asia, and extortion is the big thing over there. So that's been just going rampant in the drug trade, as well as, just ways for people to make money in British Columbia. But that was never a local thing. That was always something that came in from overseas with the large number of people that they accepted. So now they're paying the price. It's like, yep, you might have your $500,000 home might have gone to $4 million, but boy, you're paying the price, aren't you? So she's going to get the woke ideology out of schools. I would say that British Columbia was ground zero for DEI as far as that goes. Just remembering going there, and used to go snowboarding all the time, and so I'd been going there since I was a teenager, and I did notice in my 20s that I heard some really crazy sort of this woke ideology. I didn't know what it was, and there was a lady who was from Germany, and she was only 25, and she was staying at my sister's house, and she started like the craziest conversation with me. But I'm looking back now, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. She'd be about 50 now, and it's pretty much that age group in Germany that destroyed their country. Good job, lady, whoever you were. You know, trying to finger wag because of something about the Chinese who built our railway and this and that, and we treated them like slaves. And I didn't know what she was talking. And I just looked at her and I said, well, my dad is from out west, and as far as I know, the people who were from China, they came over of their own free will, and they agreed to those wages. So I don't really think that's something that you should be concerned about right now. So, and then she goes, and then she thought about it. It was like nobody had ever said that to her before. So that's why I'm here, guys. Just some of the retardedness that's going on out in society. I just got to say something because, I mean, I wasn't even that old back then. I was only in my 20s, but I was running the show, and I just did not have time for these people who live this life that is only going to be protected up to a certain point, and then after a while you're going to start to see reality because your society's fallen apart. you know Everything's all about that DEI and equal outcome, that's going to work out. It's like, no, it's not. It's not going to work out at all. Yeah, did I mention you got to stop giving people checks for having a baby? Oh yeah. I know people are like, "What do you mean? You got to No, you know what you got to do? You got to make good economies. You got to make good economies where people can, have a little bit of money left over from their job at the end of the month, and then they can start thinking about, having a baby. Believe me, they will. You don't have to pay people to have children. People want to have kids. They want to have a family. Many people do. And if they don't, well, you know what? Leave them alone. Not everybody. That's not everybody's place, right? I run on I call it the plane crash theory. That story where the plane crashed and then everybody, I didn't watch it, but I did see enough stuff. I went on for like 11 seasons or something. So I saw enough shows about it that, you could see all the different people from all the different walks of life, all the different professions, and everyone kind of finds their place. But when you have that many people, you got to have, you got to be able to create a community, and everybody has to have different things they're doing. Lion advocacy, not a conspiracy theory. The RCMP is working with a Calian group to set up quarantine facilities to address the Ebola scare, maybe hantavirus too. I'm like, what Ebola? I just got my hantavirus stuff out. What? We're not celebrating hantavirus now? What's going on? They will need nurses to help enforce and monitor quarantine. Unlike COVID, this could mean forced isolation for 21 to 42 days. Oh my gosh. So this is, okay, so they're giving us a copy of hiring RNs and LPNs to provide on-site clinical care. Well, you know what? Just the fact that they're not going to be able to hire anybody for those positions, because I'll tell you right now, I come from a family of nurses and that is tapped out. Yeah. If there are any unemployed nurses, they have gone south to the United States already, and they're not going back up to Canada. And I hope I don't hear any crap about lockdowns and stuff, because I'll just drive in the other direction and put my kid on a plane for his summer job, which may not even be if they're going to have lockdowns. Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh, Stephen Wallace sharing personal stuff again. He got diagnosed, I guess, with stage 4 cancer in March of 2020. His sister tells him it's all his fault. Do you guys have people like that in your family? I can't even imagine. The sister who I never hear from. That pretty much tells you everything you need to know, right? And I was like, why are you even talking to these people? Yeah. You know what? People who don't like me, I have no idea what they say about me. I like what Dr. Phil said a long time ago. Yeah, you're going to call me son of a bitch. You're going to call me from long distance on the phone because you won't be in the same room with me. That's how I do it. Bye. Bye. Yeah. Anyone who claims a lack of joy, but the 250th is a function of a rough economy and was not alive in 1976. Yeah, the country rocked in its 20th celebration and the economy was a freaking mess. There is this Gen Z misconception that the 70s and early 80s were some sort of economic golden age of readily available, well-paying jobs, low-cost housing, and all-around sense of prosperity. Ooh, absolutely not. Yeah, when I see what kids have today, even what the poor kids have, I'm like, oh yeah, we've definitely advanced in our technology. So wrong. Google stagflation, Google gas lines, Google mortgage interest payments in the 1980s. Now, thankfully, I didn't buy my first place until 91 because I missed all of that. I'm not a boomer. I am an Xer. And I did buy a place at a very young age. But even in 91, I remember that I got in, it was 9.25. And what happened is I only took a 1 year. And I remember the guy I was seeing at the time was an RCMP officer, and he argued with me. He locked his in for 5 years and paid 12%. And I said, this is all going to turn around. And this is why I'm here with you guys, because I can call this stuff like crazy. It was so easy for me. I actually ended up with 3 different houses just because of the lower interest rates. Because, you pay it down, it goes up in equity. The interest rate is so low that the monthly payment is not very much. So when they do your math, you actually can get another place. And then when you retire, you just start picking them off like one by one, you know. And one of them is your prime residence. So as of now, you don't pay any tax on it. They are floating that in Canada, but that's not gonna work out because I'm pretty sure that the government that's floating it is gonna get thrown out before anything like that happens. Isn't that terrible that people would actually vote in that when you sell your home, and in many cases, it's to go into the nursing home, that you sell your home, that it's taxed like income tax. Just to give you an idea, in Canada, if you have a registered education savings plan and you take out, let's say, $46,000 in accumulated income payment. So you're not using it for education for your kid. They ended up doing their own thing and you just wanted to have the money there just in case. But now they're old enough, you're allowed to actually take it out and get the interest. But they're going to tax you. They're going to tax you at 40% and some sort of extra surtax. Anyways, on about 46,000, the taxes are over $17,000 on it. And that's with you having zero income. Yeah, so you can see why a lot of people don't want to be in certain countries because it's only going to get worse. Yeah. All right. So what's going on here? I mean, cynical publicus, that's their handle. They're making a very good point that, the 200th was great and the economy was a mess, but people still celebrated. I think life was simpler back then. I think communities were closer. And I do think that the negativity and there is sort of a darkness there's a darkness that runs through the world. And I think that it's been getting its way a lot more than it's not been getting its way. But we're just starting to see that shit turn around. Elena says, my Uber driver yesterday asked me if I was married. I said no. The man sighed dramatically and goes, good, don't rush. Marriage is hard. Then he spent the next 20 minutes complaining about his wife, how she nags, how she always stressed, how she's changed since having kids. At one point he said, she doesn't even smile at me the same anymore. Then he got a phone call. It was his wife. First thing she said was, did you remember to pick up the medicine for the baby? The man got irritated immediately. Started snapping. I'm working. Stop calling me. Figure it out yourself. Hung up. Then looked at me and said, women just become miserable after marriage. And honestly, some men will slowly drain the joy out of a woman and then blame her for no longer glowing around them. Yeah. So I would have been like, I haven't had like Uber drivers talking to me like that. And I would more likely tell them that the counseling bill was in the mail. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's like the second car that has pulled into my driveway. Okay, they're backing out now. Okay, good. It's just somebody turning around. Yeah. I'm gonna be out of here in like just three more days. And I don't want the men in black showing up. Yeah. I have a really good hit rate when it comes to news and politics. So some people, it makes them nervous. You better not be working for the Chinese. I'd be like, I would never, 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 ever, ever. And not for the current Canadian regime either. A big part of this channel is so I can rain HELL down upon them from Mexico. But I still have to go up there. I have to deliver my kid for his job. Yeah. So we're looking at the countdown will be September. So get the word out. Make sure that you like and share my video. Make sure you comment down below. Comments help. It helps with the algorithm. Who knew? Anyways, guys. And if you want to see more Sam and you want to be able to ask questions, just trip on over to Patreon. And I'm under Sam Jam or Samantha J. James. And if not, well, make sure you check notifications here because I'll let you guys know ahead of time next time I'm doing a live stream. And as the news and politics start to wake up, it's going to be more and more fun. Yeah. I'm just going to check the questions here one more time before I go. We're at 49, almost 17 people. Actually, we did really good for my first live stream on the channel. Oh, my screen's in black. Oh, that's no fun. Okay. Yeah. I don't know why. I'm going to have to look that up, guys. Thanks for the heads up on that. Like I said, and thanks, Star, for mentioning Sam's not that tech savvy. Oh, yeah, I'm definitely not. As I try to look through Vimeo for more stuff to upload. Yeah. One of them, the one about, I made a joke and I said that this is back in 2019 because it was back when I was doing it in my sunroom. Like I look at where I'm at. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's the sunroom in my house. Oh, now it's telling me my battery's running low. Oh, we're probably getting cut off anyways. Anyway, somebody asked me, they asked me if I was making a prediction. I said that he was going to get fired. Elon Musk was going to be fired, and then he was just going to work for Doge. I was talking about the coin Doge, right? And then I was asked very seriously, is that a prediction? And I was like, yes. Feeling kind of saucy. So I might do some of those while I'm here too. Those are always fun. Yeah. So yeah, sorry about the guys. But Ursula, was I at least a little square in the corner, or was it just all black? Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh, moving to Canada. Well, you know what? It is actually easy to get in there. They are giving a lot of money to refugees and to people who are just moving there right now. And I mean, I would recommend starting a business there right now, but it really depends on what she's getting into. But I do think that things are going to turn around for Canada once Carney kisses the ring. I call it. Yeah, Carney. He's going to kneel and kiss Trump's ring. I know. Too bad. So sad. I know some people are already, oh, I'm not going to see that lady now. She thinks Donald Trump is good. Well, he is. And he's going to help save Canada too. So again, thank you so much for the thumbs up, you guys. I only have 14 viewers right now, and I got 13 likes. So, and make sure you just leave a quick comment down in the box below. And if you just watched my other videos and maybe do a little comment or something, I would really appreciate that. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay, great. Well, thanks again for hanging out, guys. And I will see you over on the Discord for my folks who are on the Sam Jam. Bye for now.